Hi guys, I'm Shmi and I'm in Italy at the home of Alfa Romeo, where I'm here today at the Balocco test track to take a look at a rather special new car. This is the new Giulia Quadrifoglio and it's a very significant launch for the brand. In fact, it almost represents a relaunching of Alfa Romeo with this as their first rear-wheel drive saloon car in 30 years since the Alfa 75 was introduced. And this represents a start of new and exciting things to come from the brand. And today we're going to be able to take a look around the car, go for a hot lap around Balocco circuit and then take it for a drive as well. So like I said, this is a big thing and being here on the press launch is obviously very exciting. Although I've brought the British weather with me today, it's a little bit wet and damp. However, you could say that's just an excuse to have some fun. But let's take a look at the car itself. And immediately the design is just awesome. A lot of Italian sort of flair. You can see the sort of new style they're going with and just the way the thing looks is brilliant. It's powered by a 2.9 litre twin turbocharged V6 mounted at 90 degrees that's good for 510 CV, 503 brake horsepower. That gets it 0 to 62 miles an hour or 100 kilometers an hour in 3.9 seconds. So it's going in hard against the well-established BMW M3, the Mercedes C63, and it's got a lot of technology to play with as well. Alfa Romeo wanted to sort of combine the emotion of the car along with the technical aspects as well. And that's, I mean, just walking around from a design point of view, you can't fault it at all. It's very aggressive. You've got the carbon spoiler over the top of the deck lid, you've got the quad exhaust pipes, and you can hear the other cars going around in the background sounding very, very fruity as well out of that what initially seems like just a 2.9 litre sort of small engine. It is just a 2.9 litre engine, but that's where it boasts its efficiency figures. It can turn off a bank and it's good for over 33 miles per gallon as a result. Around the front you've got a lot of openings, the grills, the space gives it that sort of enhanced look. Traditional number plate mounted towards the side, but everything's functional, so all of the vents help with cooling or airflow. You've got a carbon fibre bonnet and a couple of other pieces, also sort of lightweight. Carbon fibre drive shaft through the centre. Inside this car, you've got the 6-speed manual gearbox, which is available in the left-hand drives. The right-hand drives will just have the 8-speed ZF automatic box. But that's a difficult choice. The manual perhaps may be more fun. The 8-speed gives it more sort of capability through the different gearing setups. On the inside, while we're having a look at it, it's very simple yet elegant. Obviously you've got all the materials, the carbon fibres and the Alcantaras. There's a lot that's been learnt from Ferrari with this car, I should add as well, because the design, well, and engineering I should say, product team has come from Ferrari. So a lot of this supposedly has that passion. I'm looking forward to experiencing that myself. But for example, the start-stop button on the steering wheel here, and a lot of the sort of experience type things. I mean, this car is the manual, not the paddle shift, but the feel of those and the like. So we'll be able to explore that and experience it a little bit later on. But from an initial point, it's a good-looking car. It sounds exciting, and I'm looking forward to getting to know this a little bit better. Let's jump into the Giulia Quadrifoglio and go for a hot lap. Hi.
Hello, hi. Hello, I'm Fabrizio. Nice to meet you.
Tim, nice to meet you. How's it going?
We go. Is the first time for you in Balocco?
Yes, first time here.
Ah, first time. Okay, so you don't know the track.
Not at all. Just a little glance online. Quick picture to see what it looks like.
So now we are in dynamic. How do you feel the car in this first?
So far, so good. Plenty quick, that's for sure. 500 horsepower is not lacking. Awesome, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Cheers, bye. Let's take a look at the interior in a little bit more detail. And the first thing I'm going to do is start the car up, which you do, of course, by this button now on the steering wheel. You get a nice needle sweep with that. Now let me close the door so that we can have a look at the displays and what we're greeted with in here. So you have a very nice integration for the central navigation system here, surrounded by that black bezel, which is all controlled through this interface down here. Just have a very quick look at what we've got there. Love how that fits into the dashboard. On the display itself here, we can go through a couple of different modes. Trip information, G sensor there. Revs up to almost 7,000 there, which is quite nice. Another thing that's sort of learnt from Ferrari, active suspension control here, damper mode, bumpy road mode almost, and that's surrounded by this control where you've got active efficiency, the sort of eco mode down here, which we get the slightly yellow-green display. Then you have natural, where it goes blue, drive, which is the sort of sport mode, and then you have race, which you have to hold to put into race there, and it flicks back, and you get the larger speedometer in the center, but that turns everything off. You can see ESC has gone off as well. That's the sort of mode for having fun, and that's what the car's been set up to do and introduce a lot of. So we have this rather oversized gear lever here in the center, which has a very solid feel to it. Alternatively, you would have the extended paddles on the back of the wheel, very, very Ferrari-like. Electric handbrake, touch control panel here, got a USB socket there behind this, and down here we've got the key. A quick glance at what the key looks like for this car. Put that back under there. In the armrest, we've got a cigarette socket, another USB, the usual, but the interior is actually really nice. It's very simple, but functional. Everything is positioned as you would want it to be, where you need it to be for actual productive use. So you couldn't fault this at all. And the dials obviously maintains, as you'll know from Alphas, these two sort of cylinders around the rev counter and the speedometer, and you have the little emblem down there as well, which is quite a nice touch. So you've got lots of controls here. I love having the start button there. I just think it's such a cool thing to be looking at. So on the inside, it's really rather nice. Let's quickly pop the window down and have a listen. It's very fruity, there's no question about that. The V6 rasping away, as you heard from the outside when I was going for my hot lap. So, without any further ado, let's take this for a drive. Rolling out then for my first drive of the car, and I've got it to start in dynamic mode, which basically firms everything up. Quicker shift times. I've got automatic on the pedals at the moment, but it just sort of gives it a completely spirited drive without going as far as race, where it will turn everything off. Now you can hear a rather nice sort of raspy sound on the upshifts, which is quite cool. And if I override and drop down some gears here with the paddles, which have a very nice feel to them, as I hoped, those really do have a nice touch. It will automatically go back into the auto mode after 7 seconds, unless you move the shifter to the left to put it into manual. So that's going to let me play around a little bit more. I do like that paddle feel an awful lot. So we've got those different drive modes which really do change the feel of the car in a very big way. There's a lot of active sort of control, things you can change and play with. I'm slightly unfamiliar with the circuit, so I have to take it easy just to learn it. I can put my foot down. That was a very aggressive upshift. There's no question there's a lot of power available for us here. It feels quite playful, although obviously I'm taking it quite easy at the moment. mean by this car has that emotional sort of play. It very much has almost a sort of hint of kind of Ferrari to its driving style, in the way that it's just lets you have fun and just play around a little bit. And I'm really enjoying this one. Have a very sort of emotional, fun side to it, and that all comes from the way it's set up. Very, very stiff. The sort of wheelbase setup, the whole feel of everything. The steering ratio. The steering is sort of the tightest ratios in class, and that means it's a very sort of involving drive. You feel very, very pointy, very direct to the road, and obviously something I quite like with my sports cars. This car also has carbon ceramic brakes, and they have a very, very nice feel. And it has a system, the intelligent braking system, where when you press very, very firmly and the ABS kicks in, you don't feel that back through the pedal. It's very, very sort of progressive and smooth feeling to be driving. We're returning back, end of the drive. What a lot of fun. I have luckily managed to find myself in a manual car for another little lap just to have a play with. So we're again driving in dynamic, just trying out the 6-speed gearbox. And there are two things in particular. One is that the car has an auto downshift blip, which will obviously rev match itself as you go on the downshift. And the other is that when you're accelerating, if you're completely flat out, you can keep your foot on the accelerator and keep it planted and just do the clutch and gear. So let's give this a go. Flat out acceleration. Wow, that's a strange phenomenon. Keeping your foot planted. Wow, that's really smooth and really nice. That's awesome. Time to give this another go, a feature I have never come across before in a car. Foot flat, keep it flat, and up you go. It's such a strange sort of feeling doing that. The brakes in this car are brilliant. They're so sort of progressive and smooth in feel as you push down hard. Okay, we're ready?
Race mode.
So race mode, passenger seat experience.
We get out from the pit lane slowly.
Beautifully smooth. I mean, it's not the car doing all the work. It takes a driver.
I'm just doing half the part. The car is doing the rest. We got the power, the weight balance, and the car is really doing the rest.
That was, what a feeling. It's fantastic.
No massive response from the car. No.
It doesn't snap or anything.
Yeah, totally. You never get what you don't expect.
Yeah. What a party piece. Thank you, that was fantastic.
You're welcome.
I'm also going to show you in the engine bay here. A lot of people ask me to do that on my video, so we can take a look at the new power plant that is running this thing. So a pretty little thing we've got in here. It's obviously quite hard to see much these days, but we've got the badges here, obviously letting us know what we're looking at, and the engine positioned so low down to be just behind the front axle as well, which is about the balance and setting the thing up. Another feature I didn't show you yet is the active aero. So the front splitter actually lowers down at speed for additional downforce. And thinking about it while I come around, actually thinking about the brakes, which you can see there, carbon ceramics, which are phenomenal. The car also has an ability that if you heel and tow, it will automatically recognise that and it won't self-rev match. So when you're downshifting, it will let you do the work and it will sort of automatically know that you're doing it without having to be told or change any driving modes, which is quite a cool feature. Back in from my drive, and I think you would have to say that is mission success. There is a lot of passion and emotion in that car. Very, very fun, very playful, very exciting, while still being luxurious and comfortable. Perhaps there's not quite enough drama. I would say it doesn't necessarily feel as fast as it is, which is the way a lot of excitement comes out of it. And perhaps the sound could do with being a little bit louder, but these are pretty insignificant things. As it is, it bodes very, very well for the future of Alfa Romeo. I'm very excited to see where that goes. And hopefully for me, there'll be an opportunity to spend some more time with this car and get to know it a little bit better in the future. There are of course also the petrol and diesel models, the standard base versions of the car, but I've not spent that much time with those, just focusing on the big one, the big heavy hitter, and I'm very, very happy. I've really enjoyed that. So I do hope I can get some more opportunities to film with it in the future. For now though, thank you very much for watching, and thank you of course to Alfa Romeo for having me down to share these early sort of driving impressions with you guys. That's it for today though. I will catch up with you again very soon. Cheers! Audi have released the upgraded version of the RS6, the RS6 Performance, which is what this. Of course, we've got the Brabus 500 G500 4x4, where they